We've been flying over his estate for the past 2 hours.
Not a lot of helicopters can fly over 4 hours, 2 hours each way without refueling, which doesn't appear to be an option. After Caleb signs the non-disclosure agreement, he places the pen towards the right of the pad on the desk. In the next shot, the pen is in the middle of the pad, and when he slaps his keycard down on the desk, the pen has returned to the right of the pad. Genius Inventor has a pristine facility, but messy wall full of post-its is okay.
Understand that you want me to explain how Ava works?
It would be nearly impossible for a single person to master robotics, phonetics, and many other disciplines in addition to artificial intelligence to build such an advanced robot on their own. Right now, the lights in his rooms are off, but once the main power is restored, the lights are on and we didn't see him try to flip any switches or do anything to turn on the lights. Assuming that Nathan constantly watches Ava, he probably would have seen her at the recharge station before each power failure. Remember that he's a genius, so putting the two together would be easy.
You shouldn't trust anything he says.
It's only day 2 and Caleb is already so enamored with her that he is willing to believe what she said instead of reporting this unusual behavior to Nathan. Disregard the fact that he is talking to her behind the security glass, a clear indication he is dealing with something potentially very dangerous. In the prior 2 days, there is a box with a recharging station on the room on which Ava sits down, but for some reason on the 3rd day that box is gone, and then back on day 4. Some of you are probably thinking this scene would contain a striptease, but you are wrong.
You bet she can fuck.
And now we know the real reason Nathan made these robots. We have no reason to believe this is the only time Nathan goes into Ava's secured part of the facility. So if she really wanted to escape, she could have at least tried to attack Nathan anytime and get his access card. In their spare time, Genius Billionaire and Robot practice dance routine in their hermit house when no one is watching. Genius Inventor's security system consists of a master key card that grants access to everything. He would have been much better off with some biometric security like facial recognition, retina scan, or fingerprint together with a pin code combination. He is dealing with untested and unpredictable robots after all. As we know, the computer only works if Nathan's keycard is on the reader, but here the computer shows working fine even though the keycard is not at the reader. When Caleb rewrites the coding for the lock mechanisms, he writes 2 simple functions. For the programmers out there, you'd recognize that what he is coding will not give the results he wants. I admit that when the trailer came out, I thought he was going to find out he was a robot too, but that would have been too cliche. I'm glad I was wrong. But damn, a cut that deep would need bandages and stitches.
We're getting out of here tonight.
Even if that plan had worked, they would have been in the middle of nowhere with no wilderness survival skills.
She passed.
Yes.
Wow.
If the goal was to achieve artificial intelligence, and Ava passed the test, then why reprogram her? It should have been enough that she passed as a human, unless Nathan is trying to achieve something much more. Like every door, the door to access Ava's viewing room probably required an access card. If that's the case, then Kyoko would not have been able to get in, which makes sense because Nathan probably would not want his robots conspiring against him. And those dudes were just looking at the computer with a triple monitor setup, so wouldn't one of the camera screens be on one of the monitors, and they would have seen Kyoko and Ava talking to each other? Nathan is a genius, but apparently forgot to implement Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, where the first and most important is that a robot cannot harm a human being. He knocks her chin off to her right, but there is nothing on the floor on the next scene. Is that her chin on the left side? He got stabbed on the back and was able to turn around and knock the jaw out of Kyoko. It looks like he could have done the same to Ava. The key card disappears from her hand. The arm she gets has a different skin tone than her skin tone, but after she attaches it, the skin tone matches. The replacement arm also doesn't fit very well. Ava is patching herself up with layers of skin-like material, but if it is literally skin-tight, wouldn't her proportions have to be exactly the same as the robot she's taking the skin from? I'm sure it's some super advanced material that is adjustable and can also easily make seams disappear, right? The inside door lock panels are inconsistent throughout the movie. From the inside the room, the door panel is red, meaning it's locked. It turns blue when they walk in, but later we see the panel blue again. This is the same room as before, and the panel is blue during the whole scene. It looks like Caleb also walked in without his card. Look at his empty hands, unless you think he scanned it and then put it in his pocket before walking in. The same room, but now the panel is red. Door locks played such an important role at the end when Caleb is stuck, so it's a shame that the movie fumbled how door locks looked throughout the movie. Caleb never told her about the helicopter, but she happens to be outside right when it flies over her. Also remember when
Helicopter comes tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.
At 10 o'clock tonight, you trigger a power failure.
that means that Ava escaped at 10 p.m, so it took her 10 hours to kill Nathan, get dressed, and exit the facility when the helicopter showed up. Maybe she just happened to be smelling the roses around the facility for a few hours, or maybe in those 10 hours she figured out how to recharge her batteries in the real world. We will never know. Pilot was expecting to pick up Caleb, but I guess he probably is paid too much to ask questions. Ava probably just told him that there was a change of plans.
I don't think you're ready for this day. I don't think you're ready for this day. I don't think you're ready for this.
A slam dunk, final answer. Oh.
One day the AIs are going to look back on us the same way we look at fossil skeletons in the plains of Africa. An upright ape living in dust with crude language and tools, all set for extinction.